Mind-opening channelings by Chanda.
I wouldn't change my birthright, my birthplace. I still see it as the most of all kind places. On that planet called Earth, I simply say the most. There is nothing else to add or eliminate. The richness of the experiences and emotions, the bliss has given me a huge quantity. Even though sometimes I wonder, what would it be like if I am so glad that this if has dropped. This if stopped me to appreciate my roots. But what would I be without my roots? What would be a tree without the roots? What would be a flower without roots? The parents I picked up from so many before my incarnation, they didn't understand me. I don't mind anymore. I'm not here to change them. I'm here to change my mind. I really don't mind their choices. But they have been taught me a responsibility towards my body and my soul. They didn't teach me this directly. They taught me this by putting me down, especially my mother. There was never enough what I did. I wasn't good enough, no matter how hard I tried. But I don't mind, and I wouldn't change my birthplace. My parents are my birthplace. They had picked the location for me. No matter if they came from far or nearby, they set their anchor exactly on the place I was born. That my story in the skies, written in the stars, could be opened. So please understand how I'm calling you to accept and appreciate your choice for your parents. The choice, picking up them from so many others to be your mom and dad. It doesn't matter if you met physically your parents. All of us have them. And it's our choice. Coincidence of previous lives. A karmatic pattern. If I would be afraid of my karmatic pattern made by myself, I would deny my journey. I would deny my escape plan from the wheel of infinity. To create a life on earth, at least one drop of water is needed. And the water comes from the skies, from our source, from our spiritual home, from our real home. On planet Earth, we are visitors, and I keep telling this. We do not own that place. We have only a right to be here, to remain here for a slight moment. Either we enjoy it or hate it. It wouldn't make difference. We remain visitors on that planet Earth. Till we pop back home, where we came from, where the drop of water comes from. This drop of water is also called a soul, a star soul, a link between the body and the spirit, the higher self, the memory, the knowledge, the science of the universe, the wiseness being awakened. Being awakened is just to become aware of itself, its own being, that never can be born, neither destroyed or die. From the moment I become capable to respect and accept my birthplace, the birthright will be available for me. The source of my parents, the life power, the support that comes from bloodline, blood, DNA pattern. In my DNA, there is written the whole story. The memory of my all ancestors, everybody that has been here before me in my bloodline. It's up to my mind if I choose the negativity or positivity. It's up to my conscious mind, my awakened being, or the one who keeps sleeping, if I choose to be sick or healthy, or be in between. I am not neither one or other real. I am in between who puts the carriage on the top of wheels to move. So what is needed from me to put both wheels to collaborate? I am the one who needs to accept the right side and the left side, both wheels. Because what would be the carriage without a wheel? Or if we had only one wheel, it wouldn't ever be stable. It's up to me to marry spirituality and materiality, to put them together, that the carriage could move on, that I could move on, that I could become alive. It's up to me to bring disguise my story on the earth. It's up to me to bring my source, the drop of water from my source on the earth, to marry them and remain in between. I do not mind what others tell me, to choose one or other. I need both of them, my mother and my father. It doesn't matter again if I met them physically. What matters is that I accepted them in my life. I accepted them as life givers. From that moment on, it's easy to forgive them their mistakes. The pain they gave me. I'm sure they did their best. Maybe just they weren't so conscious, making their choices, saying the words, acting on certain way. I wouldn't blame them. I said, I would say, it was the deep sleep. So to become completely awakened, I reached my right hand to my father and my left hand to my mother to hug them. I would be fool if I said I didn't cry tears for the limits and pain they have been given to me. But I have forgiven myself these hard conditions. I have been given myself a possibility, a choice to bring up the DNA pattern that hides or carries the positive vibe, healing, universal healing. It's not just egoistical healing. Just my body or just my soul, the piece of the soul. It's about the humankind. To heal the humankind. Everybody who wanted or asked the healing even once. I'm not talking about them who have been yearning for the healing to wake up. But the tree goes growing towards the skies and becomes as beautiful, as strong, grows its roots, which means how largely he can accept the space, the place of the ancestors, of the bloodline, how totally he or she can accept the members of the bloodline. If I wanted to call myself material, I need to bring down the spirituality, which means I need to bring down at least one drop of water from my source, from my spiritual home, which contains the gifts, my talents, what am I good at, the positive vibe, the power of moving on and sharing no matter what, by being my real being on the planet Earth. If I didn't accept spirituality, it would be like I didn't accept one of my parents. And it means I never ever can become whole. I cannot become material, which means I cannot be materialized. I would remain only an illusion, a slight memory, perhaps once visited this planet Earth. But there is no guarantee because he or she was never materialized, rooted on the planet Earth. Denying spirituality, which is not a religion, would be denying its own being, would be denying where I come from, what am I, would be denying all my gifts, would be denying my breath, because the breath comes from spirit. Spirit enters and the breath happens. It brings the life into body, and the body becomes alive. Without the connection of the spirit, we become desert, flat, who can scream in the emptiness, but nobody hears. No life source would be interested in, because it is only the scream of unsecure one. It's only the scream of the forgotten one. It's the scream that remains without help. Two wheels of the carriage must be helped by the one who pushes to move the carriage. If the carriage does not move, it gets rusted, and there would be no use of the carriage. These two wheels that become broken. More than 90% of humanity is still broken. Who are on the planet right now. Their hearts are broken. Their soul is divided in pieces, and they do not remember where to find from these pieces, and they even didn't dare to find them because they are so afraid of the pain that is hidden in these pieces. But it's their own pain. It's their own story. It's their own past. But denying the past is same as denying my ancestors. I cannot throw out no one who was here before me. None of them. I must achieve the capacity to accept all of them. Like I need to achieve the capacity to achieve the sky and earth and make them to collaborate, to move the carriage. If I am against to materiality or spirituality, I'm against my right or left hand. I'm against the sky or earth. Again, I'm against my mother or father. I'm against life or death. And between, in between, there is remembering. There is nowhere to die. There is no need to be born. If I am eternal, if I'm eternal, where would I born or die? Yes, I can incarnate. I can become flesh in different forms, on different planets, in different universes, on different fragrances, in different knowledge level, in different wiseness. But it's just moving on, changing the places. But yet I said I wouldn't change my birthplace. Isn't that interesting? In reality, it's just my mind that changes the location. And my incarnal form appears to different levels. Sometimes I need to dig deep. Then I find myself in difficult places, forgotten places, dirty places, where the evil lies. Then again, I bring out the dirt on the surface and arrive and I, and I arrive kind of paradise level, almost touching nirvana, feeling myself so blessed that makes me realize that these two parents made possible to be realized, to be materialized. And there remains no idea to keep ill will What would be the idea to remain in sorrow, to remain in self-pity, to remain in guilt? Yes, to visit this kind of emotions, these feelings, but to remain stuck there, what would be the point? What would be the point to stop the energy? If I stopped all the rivers, what am I trying to achieve with this? Yelling for an attention? Rebelling? If I want to be succeeded and really succeeded, it's the right moment to take a look at materiality and spirituality, to realize that money has high frequency. I can be promoted and I can be flourished by money. Money does not change people. Money just brings out what was hidden there. Money is like a master, awakened master, powerful master that can make seen unseen, that can bring out the hidden one. Money never changes people. Never. Money only drops the veils, curtains, covers. It's an instrument to appreciate itself. It's an instrument to let itself to flow, let itself to grow, let itself to achieve by the connection between spirituality and materiality. It gives the strength. I don't want to use the word power. It gives the strength to bring down that drop of water on the earth and nurture the hidden plant, a gift inside of us, that it would blossom, that I would become independent, that I didn't have to remain stuck to my parents, that I could set them free, that I could let myself free, that I could share to this world a freedom message, a freedom call. What is a freedom? It is an independence. Independence to take a responsibility of its source, where lies our gifts, and bring them on earth to let them grow here. This is the road for the courage one, but eventually everybody has to arrive there. So sooner or later. The question is only how much time do we need to become brave enough to make the first step, till we start walking independently, till we start running on the right direction. Not being busy and running wherever the masses are running, or the masses have pointed to run, made to run, given orders to run, to become free of being a follower. There is no one else to follow but itself, its own source, its own spirit, its own heart. Heart is not a desire. This is a huge mistake that has often been made. Heart has nothing to do with desires. Desires comes from unclean mind, from sleeping unconscious, from insecurity, where one tries to be somebody, to become somebody, to be approved, to be accepted by the others, or by the community, or by the sect, or by. Heart is pure. It's a soul. Soul is pure. Star soul is pure. Pure as a crystal water. It has its own needs. The need to walk the path of its higher call, its mission, its own mission. To open itself up to know itself more, to become more and more itself. And on that road, there are needs that can be proudly, gratefully allowed, accepted, such as a food, the money, and abundance, prosperity, pure water, the wine, the blood. So without conditions, I am allowed to accept my parents, my birthright, my birthplace. Nobody has right to stop me. Yes, they can do, but I'm not obligated to follow their scream of unconfidence. I'm not obligated to deny myself, to deny the richness of life. I do not need to follow desires that are so appreciated in society. My birthright is to be here. Wherever I set my foot, according to my heart, my spiritual call. So please, from now on, drop the desire or observe it, but stop following it. Allow it, but don't become it. You are not the desire. You are not the mind. You are not the body. You're only the one who collects the experiences in between different parents, in between different people, in between different desires, in between different thoughts, in between different locations, different songs, different vibes. So any vibe you visit, drink it. And then put chalice aside. Don't desire to take the chalice with you. It never belonged to you. Everybody has the right to drink from that chalice of life. It's not yours. It's not theirs. It was here before us. The grail, sacred grail. Drink it up if you need it. Bottom it up. But let the chalice stay. And then move on. I'm not here to change you. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm here only to change my mind. If I'm capable to change my mind, it means you have the capacity to change your mind if you wanted to. if you wanted to become free of being pushed back and forward, being teased, being treated bad, being bullied. Let's drop the second word and just be, becoming a beautiful being. It's a great thing. We didn't have to marry our parents, at least not anymore. In ancient times, it was often needed to keep the bloodline, or so they said. The godly bloodline that's supposed to have a golden blood. I have all rights. My birthright is asked the help of my parents for a certain time, and then I gotta move on. I gotta let them go. I cannot cling to them. It wouldn't be my birthright. It would be a crime. It would be a crime to live the life of my parents, to command them, or to obey to them. We are separate beings. We only share the same bloodline, the same structure of DNA, but each member in this bloodline have the right to choose which code to activate and which one to deny. We definitely don't have to follow our parents' footsteps. We only need to learn from them. It would it would do some good for us if we could observe the choices of others, the choices of unknown people, their mistakes, their succeed stories. Let it be like an entertainment, visualizing itself in movie theater or opera hall and looking at the beautiful play, observing the choices of these figures, these people, their life story. But then, when the curtains come down, we only follow our own footsteps. We create our own roads. It's not because I can, it's because it's the right way to create its own life story.
Thank you for listening to ChandaaS channeling. Be held, be guided, be protected. You matter to me.